Joey Barton's violent meltdown.
The millionaire midfielder was recently released from prison after serving 74 days of a 6-month sentence for another attack.
To Luis Suárez biting opponents like a maniac.
Sunk his gnashes in there. What on earth is he doing?
And Eric Cantona's legendary kung fu kick that shocked the world.
And Cantona has got involved with a fan in the front row.
Manchester United has today suspended Eric Cantona from all first-team matches for the remainder of the 1994-95 season.
Those words, the Croydon magistrate sentenced Eric Cantona to 2 weeks in jail for his assault on the Crystal Palace.
These footballers didn't just cross the line, they destroyed it. And it all starts with a red card that changed everything. When you hear the name Joey Barton, you don't think finesse. You think violence. And not the hard tackle kind. We're talking flying elbows, punches, and full-on meltdowns. But nothing compares to what happened on May 13th, 2012. Final game of the season. QPR versus Manchester City. City needed a win to clinch the title. Tensions were high. What does Barton do? He elbows Carlos Tevez in the face, right in front of the reference. Straight red card. But instead of leaving the pitch, Barton kicks Sergio Aguero in the back, then tries to headbutt Vincent Kompany. 3 acts of violence in under 30 seconds. Joey Barton saw the red card and thought it meant go berserk mode. Commentators didn't know what to say. Even his teammates looked stunned. He just sabotaged our whole survival fight. I've never seen anything like it. City went on to win the game in the last minute, Aguero's legendary goal, and Barton? He got a 12-match ban. One of the longest in Premier League history. 12 games? He's lucky they didn't jail him for grievous bodily harm on live TV. That day, Barton didn't just lose his cool, he hand-delivered the Premier League title to City. In one of the dumbest, wildest exits the league has ever seen. And just like that, his career was never the same. But if Joey Barton melted down in seconds, the next guy planned his chaos like a movie villain. If Barton lost it in 30 seconds, Pepe said, bet. April 21st, 2009. Real Madrid versus Getafe La Liga. Crunch time, 87th minute. Getafe's player Javier Casquero goes down in the box. Ref points to the spot. Penalty. Pepe sees red, but not from the reference. The man absolutely snaps. He kicks Casquero in the back while he's down. Then again, then bends down, and punches another Getafe player in the face. All of this, while his teammates are literally trying to hold him back. Bro went from defender to GTA boss in 10 seconds flat. Casquero's penalty was so bad it missed, but nobody even remembers that. All eyes were on Pepe's meltdown. He got a 10-game ban, but the damage to his image? Permanent. Pepe was built like a tank, but had the control of a toddler on Monster. Even Pepe himself admitted later, I completely lost my mind, I disgraced my club, and just like that, Pepe's career split in two. Before Getafe, and after. From brute force to absolute villain status. But if Pepe went too far on the pitch, the next story takes it off the pitch. Into something way darker. When you think of locker room betrayal, you think of secrets, drama. But Mauro Icardi turned betrayal into a career move. Rewind to 2013. Icardi was the young rising star at Sampdoria, best friends with teammate Maxi Lopez. Their families vacationed together. Their wives were close. But then, Maxi's wife, Wanda Nara, left him. Weeks later, she was dating Icardi. Cue the internet explosion. Imagine passing your kid the ball. Then he steals your wife. This wasn't just drama. This was tabloid nuclear warfare. Icardi even tattooed Maxi's kids on his arm. Yes, his former teammates' kids. Argentina fans were furious. Maxi was heartbroken, and when their clubs finally faced off again, Maxi refused to shake Icardi's hand. They called it the Wanda Derby. Icardi didn't just break bro code, he deleted it, printed a new version, and signed it in blood. Despite scoring goals at Inter, Icardi became a national villain. He was blacklisted from Argentina's squad for years, even at his peak. Icardi didn't get dropped because of form. He got dropped because everyone hated him. His football wasn't the problem. His reputation was beyond saving. But if you thought betrayal was wild, the next guy literally started a riot. With a goal celebration. September 12th, 2009, Manchester City versus Arsenal. Emmanuel Adebayor had just left Arsenal, and Gooners were fuming. They booed his every touch, chanted his name like a curse. Then, in the 81st minute, Adebayor scores, a bullet header, 2-0. And what does he do? He sprints the full length of the pitch, 90 yards, straight to the Arsenal fans, slides on his knees, arms out wide with the biggest grin you've ever seen. Adebayor's goal celebration wasn't for joy. It was a hate crime. Stewards had to hold fans back. Bottles were thrown. It nearly turned into a riot. He didn't just celebrate. He committed psychological warfare live on Sky Sports. Even Adebayor admitted later. If you give me stick for 90 minutes, don't be mad when I give it back for 5 seconds. The FA fined him £25,000, gave him a suspended ban, and Arsenal fans still haven't forgiven him. But the celebration, legendary. A 90-yard sprint that said, "You made me your villain." So I became one, but if that was petty, the next guy risked his entire life over football. For real. This isn't just football gone too far. This is life gone too far. 1994 World Cup, Colombia versus USA. Colombia was tipped to go far. They had talent, confidence, and the weight of a cartel-backed country behind them. Then, in the 35th minute, tragedy struck. Andres Escobar, trying to block a cross, accidentally scored an own goal. USA went 1-0 up. Colombia were eliminated, just like that. And back home, that one mistake wasn't forgiven. This wasn't just a loss. It cost Andres Escobar his life. That's how broken football was in Colombia. A few days later, Escobar went out in Medellin for dinner. He never made it home. He was shot 6 times. Witnesses say the killer shouted, "Goal!" after each shot, mocking the own goal. The most heartbreaking part is, he apologized in an interview the day before. Escobar was just 27, and unlike other stories, this one didn't end in redemption, or suspension, or fines, just silence. The gentleman of football didn't deserve this. He was the calm in a storm of violence today. His legacy lives on, as a reminder that football should never cost a life. That was dark. So let's take a breather from tragedy. Some fouls are dirty, some are reckless. Ben Thatcher's? It looked like attempted murder in high definition. August 23, 2006. Manchester City versus Portsmouth. Just 15 minutes into the game, Portsmouth's Pedro Mendes is chasing a ball near the sideline. Thatcher comes flying in, but not for the ball. He leads with a full-speed elbow and smashes Mendes in the face. It wasn't clumsy. It wasn't accidental. It was straight-up assault. Mendes collapsed unconscious, needed oxygen on the pitch, rushed to hospital with seizures that night. Thatcher's elbow wasn't a challenge. It was a career-ending missile. And guess what? The ref only gave him a yellow card. That tackle went so viral, even UK Parliament talked about it. Man City suspended him for 6 games, fined 6 weeks' wages, and the FA added an extra 8-match ban. Pedro Mendes should have walked off that pitch. Instead, he nearly left in a body bag. Thatcher's career never recovered. He became persona non grata in football, and Mendes miraculously returned, but was never the same. This was the day football stopped being a game and became a war zone. That was violent. But what if I told you the next story involves a player who took violence from the pitch to prison? You've seen footballers go far, but Rene Higuita went so far, he crossed into the criminal underworld. Yup, Colombia's legendary scorpion kick keeper was once arrested for being involved in an actual kidnapping case. Let's rewind to 1993, a dangerous time in Colombia. Drug lords controlled everything. Footballers, politicians, media, all under pressure. Higuita, he made the mistake of getting too involved. He acted as a middleman to negotiate the release of a drug kingpin's kidnapped daughter. He got paid $64,000 for it. But under Colombian law, even receiving money during a kidnapping counts as a crime. So Higuita, the national team's #1, was suddenly in handcuffs, spent 7 months in prison. Only Higuita could go from a World Cup to a cartel negotiation like it's a side quest. And while the scorpion kick made him a legend, his off-pitch life made him infamous. He visited Pablo Escobar in prison, had close ties with criminal families, and once missed a doping test because he was getting cosmetic surgery. This guy's Wikipedia Looks like it was edited by Netflix. Even so, Colombians loved him. He returned to football, played until age 43, and now he's a cult icon. Higuita wasn't just a goalkeeper. He was a walking telenovela in gloves. If there's one man who confused football with zombie mode, it's Luis Suárez. Because this dude didn't get red cards for tackles. He got them for using his teeth. Let's go back to 2010. Playing for Ajax, Suárez is in a heated match. Suddenly, out of nowhere, he bites PSV's Otman Bakal on the shoulder. Not a push, not a headbutt, a literal bite. Ajax suspended him for 7 matches. Suárez got more suspension for chewing than for fouling. What was this man, a vampire? You'd think he'd stop there, right? Wrong. Fast forward to 2013, now at Liverpool. Playing Chelsea, Suárez and Branislav Ivanovic clash in the box. Suárez gets frustrated and bites him too, live, on camera. In HD, he gets a 10-match ban, the second longest in Premier League history. Imagine trying to defend this guy. Not only will he nutmeg you, he might eat you alive. And then, just when you think there's no way it could happen again, 2014 World Cup, Uruguay versus Italy. Suárez goes shoulder to shoulder with Giorgio Chiellini, and you already know what happens. Chomp. The third bite, in front of millions watching worldwide. FIFA slapped him with a 4-month ban, fined him £65,000, and banned him from all football activity. He bit a man in a World Cup. My guy wasn't hungry for goals. He was just hungry. What's crazy? Barcelona still signed him after that. He went on to become part of the legendary MSN trio. But fans? They never forgot. And now, for our final story. We've seen violence, betrayal, and literal cannibalism, but our last one is pure madness. Eric Cantona didn't just take things too far. He launched himself into football history with a flying kick that still echoes through time. January 25th, 1995, Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. Cantona gets a red card for kicking a defender, but the real show starts when he's walking off. A fan, Matthew Simmons, starts screaming at him from the stands. Racist abuse, disgusting stuff. Cantona pauses, turns, and then, boom, a full-speed kung fu kick straight into the fan's chest. Then a flurry of punches. Security loses its mind. The stadium goes silent. This wasn't football. This was Street Fighter II, Old Trafford edition. He didn't just get banned. He got 9 months suspended from football, 120 hours of community service, and was almost jailed. The media roasted him, sponsors dropped him, even the French national team disowned him for a while. But Cantona, legend says he had 0 regrets. In his first press conference after the incident, he said, "When the seagulls follow the trawler, it is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea." Nobody understood a word of it, but it became iconic anyway. Cantona could have said, "I like toast," and made it sound like philosophy. And despite the madness, fans still worship him. They didn't see a criminal. They saw a rebel king defending his pride. He didn't just kick a fan. He kicked open the door to football's wildest moments, and that's why we don't say, "They went too far." We say, "They went full Cantona." You've just watched When Footballers Took Things Way Too Far, only on LIXOR. If your jaw's still on the floor, don't worry, we've got more. Hit that subscribe or miss out on the madness. See you in the next one.